Esther's Reboot Challenge, Day 30, page 135. Chapter 9. In uncertain times, think in scenarios. Thomas Frey, senior futurist at the Da Vinci Institute and Google's top-rated futurist speaker, wrote that the effect of coronavirus is like hitting a giant reset button for planet Earth. This reset button is often associated with rebooting a computer, and the term reboot is often used in the movie industry as well. There, reboots occur when filmmakers take their characters, plot, and backstory with which your movie started and change them all to make a completely different film. Leading scholars define post-coronavirus as a grand transitional time where everything stops and everything changes. You cannot catch up in this time by making small changes. As Batman rebooted with Batman Begins, we have no choice but to lay down all the existing things and reboot. The best thing that you can do at the moment is reboot. Turn it all off and turn it on again. Fortunately or unfortunately, the only thing left for us whose lives automatically came to a pause due to the coronavirus is to restart the engine. There is one condition for restarting life. The main character remains the same, but the scenario must be written differently. In my case, the thing that I kept was the most basic element, my career as a motivational speaker. I changed all the rest, the speaking style that I've been stubbornly insisting on using, my know-how, and the platform by which I reached my audience. Creating a scenario in which all these elements have changed is what is saving me in the post-coronavirus period. If you're determined to resurface as a competent person in the new world, you have to write your own reboot scenario every day. Write a life scenario in the face of uncertainty. What should I do, MK? This is the most common question I've been asked since the coronavirus outbreak began. From a small business owner who was hit by the coronavirus pandemic just a week after opening his business to a single mom who, after working at home for 2 weeks, received a text message notifying her that she had been laid off, to a Korean American who had leased a house in London to start an Airbnb but hadn't had a single guest for several months. No one was prepared for this, so no one knows how to move forward, even though we are all dealing with the same situation. It's affecting each of us differently, and each of our situations will be unique. Listening to the stories of people who are struggling, including my own daughter and brother, I wanted to give them at least some straws to grasp at, but it was difficult to give them any answers because I was not directly involved in their situations. While racking my brain to figure out how we could all pull through this crisis together, I came up with the idea of asking them to start writing their own scenarios. I wanted them to join hands with me and urgently search together for a situation to save ourselves in the midst of chaos. While reading various references and reports about the post-coronavirus world, I was most intrigued by those released by global consulting firms such as McKinsey and Company, Bain and Company, and the Boston Consulting Group. Scenario development was the main focus of all their reports. Each was packed with all kinds of scenarios, including one that analyzed various timeline models to predict when the pandemic would come to an end. A scenario that showed the global economy downturn curve, and a scenario that predicted the economic impacts by industry. People often think of movies or plays when talking about imagined scenarios, but in the business world, scenario management is used to inform and prepare strategies, which take into consideration a number of variables to cope with uncertain economic conditions. Therefore, scenarios commonly refer to future forecast reports that contain countermeasures that are appropriate for various situations that may arise in the future. So is the scenario only necessary for large economic units such as countries, industries, and corporations? It is not just the countries or the business that are facing uncertainty due to the coronavirus. The economic recession is threatening the livelihood of individuals and of many self-employed and small business owners who have been forced to close their businesses because of the social distancing policy. I've met many small and large business owners, but only a very few of them have told me that they were having coronavirus-induced business boom. When companies struggle, it naturally affects the domestic economy in turn. What's more, uncertainty is growing even worse. Nobody can tell if the economy will get better or worse in the aftermath of coronavirus, how long the pandemic will last, and when the economy will start to rebound. If scenario modeling is necessary in order to deal with an uncertain future, perhaps individuals like us need scenarios more than countries and corporations do. Thank you.